All right, welcome to morning mobility. This will be we'll probably do 25, 30 minutes of mobility and just kind of warming up the body, getting the body moving first thing in the morning. So go ahead and start standing up on your mat. And we're just going to start with a little gentle shaking, bending and straightening those knees. Good. Maybe get a little sway in there. Take whatever movements feel right for your body right now. Maybe a little shake in the arms. Lean a little forward. Lean a little backward. As we go through these different variations on the shaking, as you lean forward, as you lean backward, as you go maybe to one side or maybe to the other side, find what feels good in your body this morning that has you just enjoying this, and then do that. So don't worry about following strictly what I'm doing right now. Your main focus is finding what feels good to you. And then increase the intensity of your shaking. So move a little bit more, or you're bouncing. I guess we could call this bouncing, kind of bouncing up and down. Relax the shoulders, feel the shoulder sockets kind of loosening up. And if you're starting to feel that vibration get through your whole body, from your toes all the way up to your head, loosening up the hips, loosening up all the joints. Noticing how this one simple movement can make such a difference in transitioning from feeling like I just want to go to sleep to, oh, I'm awake, I can move now. So now come to a still point. Oh, excuse me. We're going to inhale, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge into the hips, fold forward. Oh, take your time here. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to really fold forward super far. What I want you to focus on is hinging into the hips. So rather than just bending the back, we're keeping the back mostly straight. Knees can slightly bend here. And we're going to go into our good morning. So you're going to bring your hands to your hips or to your low back, and we're going to inhale, stand up. We're going to exhale, bow. So I'm bending my knees, keeping the back nice and long and straight. Inhale up, exhale, bow. Inhale up, exhale, bow. Couple more times here. As you come down, take note that you're coming down evenly. So are you bending both knees equally? Are you coming down right in the middle of your feet? Noticing your body. One more time, we come down. And then come back up. Now just start to roll the shoulders in a couple of circles. You can take the hands off the hips. Roll those shoulders forward. 3, 4, and 5. Now we go back the other way. 1, 2, 3. Good. And 5. Now, bring the hands out. So your hands are on your shoulders, and we're going to swim here. Taking these big circles opposite. Each shoulder is doing the opposite of what the other is doing. Then go the other way. And as you do this, you can start to move the rest of your body too. Start to get the hips, turning your hips. Good. And now let those down. Good. Now we're gonna get a little more twisting here. So we're gonna start with the hands at the sides, and we're gonna just twist side to side and slowly increase that twist and let the hands just do their thing. Let them twist and hit your body. And then pick up the opposite heel as you rotate. Keeping the chest nice and high, spine nice and tall. Good. And then come back to the center. The hands relax. We're going to bring the hands to the hips. You can widen out the hips a little bit. And we're going to make some big circles with the hips. So again, we're hinging into the hips here as much as we can. So rather than just hunching forward or folding forward, we are keeping the back straight while moving from the hip joint. And you can pause at any sticky places. Take your time here, make those circles nice and big. The point here is not to do it right. The point is to see how much you can feel in your body, see how much you can awaken your ability to move. Go the other way. And seeing if little by little, each time you do one of these, you can come maybe a little bit deeper. We go one more time. Good. And then we come back up to stand. Okay, now we're going to keep mobilizing the rib cage a little bit. So I want you to reach out to either side of you. And we're going to get I want you to, as you're standing here, bring your feet pretty close together. And I want you to move just your rib cage, okay? So I want you to reach towards one side by moving your rib cage. So, and then come to the other side, moving your rib cage. So your hips, notice my hips aren't really moving. It's my rib cage that's moving. Seeing if you can isolate your rib cage from your hips. And in doing that, you'll be awakening some of your core muscles. And really reach. You can also look towards the direction that you're reaching. Like you're trying to reach with a rope. Okay, a couple more times here. And then come back to the center, release. Okay, now we're going to go, instead of moving the rib cage side to side, we're going to move the rib cage front to back. So we're going to have the hands in front, exhale, really shoot your rib cage back as much as you can. And then inhale, open. Bring your rib cage forward. Exhale, close. Bring it back. Noticing your feet position at all times. So even though we're moving the upper body, I want you to keep your feet even. Inhale, open, shoot those ribs forward, extend the chest. Maybe look up towards the sky a little bit, and then exhale, crane the neck down, shoot the rib cage back. Exhale, make that hollow body. Inhale, open. And last time, make that cave. Close it down. Good. Okay, now we're going to do a move that combines a few different elements. So we're going to hinge into the hips, keeping the feet pretty close together here. You're going to hinge into the hips. Okay, you've done this one before. Palms facing away from you. You're going to bend your left knee, straighten your right knee. And as you do that, you're going to open up your arm towards your right side, reaching that arm up and opening your chest. So I really want you to focus on opening your heart, like really facing that direction. So you're not moving your neck so much, right? You're moving your shoulders. And then exhale down. Inhale, coming up on the other side, bending the other knee. Pausing at the top. And then coming down. And taking your time, going on opposite sides. I'm just going to give you guys a minute to play with this movement. You know the movement. I want you to open your thoracic spine, your upper spine. I want you to stretch those legs and just explore what feels good to you here in this movement configuration. And then when you're done with that, come back to the center and just hang out in a full forward fold for a moment. Extending the length of your breaths now, noticing the rate of your breathing. Keeping them slow and deep and even, and breathing in and out through the nose. Now, from this forward fold, walk out your hands, and if you need to, walk your feet back until you're in this downward dog position. Palms are flat on the floor. Heels are dropping towards the ground. Hips are raising into the sky like you're wearing a utility belt and someone's pulling that utility belt up into the sky. Press through all 10 fingertips.
Let the heels drop towards the floor. And then bend the knees, both knees at the same time. And then straighten both knees. Bend both knees and straighten both knees. Then walk those feet a little bit closer to your hands and do the same thing again. Bend the knees and straighten the knees. Just repeat that a few times. And the knees and straighten all the way. Bend and straighten all the way. Increasing your range of motion here. Seeing how much you can bend your knees and maybe even walk the hands back, even coming into kind of like a squat and then straighten. Then walk those feet forward. You're going to take the hands off the ground and I want you to squat down as low as you can. I want you to hang out in that whatever low squat you can muster. Like maybe you're here and you're reaching forward and your hands are reaching towards the ground, or maybe you're here, right? Wherever you're at. Pause for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now stand, straighten those legs again. Stand all the way up. Good. And now we're going to squat again. So here, hands in front. Your hands are going to come in front as you breathe in. So you're going to breathe in on the way down. Come as low as you can. And then exhale, stand. Inhale, come down. Exhale, stand. Inhale, come down. Exhale, stand. Good. Now, we're going to further open up the shoulders a little bit before we go down to the ground. So we're going to do some big shoulder circles. I want you to swing your shoulders in a big circle. Like that. Being aware of your shoulders, noticing. Okay, now we go the other way. Mobilizing the shoulders like this helps keep pain and tension out of the neck. Okay, 3, 2, and 1, let it go. All right, now we're going to come down to the ground. So come on down. Adjust the camera just a touch. Come on down. We're going to get the hips going here, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be in this sort of all fours position. You tuck your toes. Get anything that you need for your knees, like if you need a cushion or if you need to maybe double up your yoga mat, go ahead and do so. And then what I want you to do is I want you to press your hips back towards your heels. And then I want you to kind of pulse up and down here. So just coming in and out of that movement.
And so the idea is to get your hips closer to your heels, close to your heels as possible. Okay. And then I want you to come forward. So then extend your hands out a little bit and then bring the hips up and off and forward. And then bring them back and go back and forth between these two places. Just exploring, taking your time, find what feels good. Maybe pause at one end. You can like pause into a child's pose if you want. Shift a little side to side. That feels good. You can extend the toes when you're all the way out. And then come back. Good. And then come back to that child's pose and pause with me in the child's pose. Take the feet flat to the floor. To untuck the toes. Just breathe. Good. Then come up. And we're going to make what we call our shin box. So we're going to go into this little hip place where the top, it's like crisscross applesauce, right? Except this underfoot gets brought to the outside. And you can play with that. That heel can be, so that toe can be pointed, or you can point the toe and sort of tuck the foot underneath. So I'll just give you a side view. Find what feels good. So some people who have better external rotation at the knee like this position better where the foot is flat on the floor. However, if your external rotation at the knee isn't so good, then it might feel better to tuck that toe like so. Okay. So just find what feels right for your body this morning. And then we're just going to start to move our rib cage in a circle. And notice how that movement of your rib cage also causes your hips to move. And you can probably feel your sit bone on the side of your top leg making a little circular motion with the ground as you rotate. That's good. And then expand the rib cage movement a little bit more. Like you're trying to touch the insides of a barrel. And then get your whole body into it. Like, oh, really see if you can lubricate your neck and just almost like a dance. Really feel your body here. Let yourself loosen up. Good. Okay, good. Now come back to the center. And we're going to fold forward. So just reach those hands forward. Slowly but surely find your way forward, as forward as you can. Well, again, what we're focusing on here is hinging. So what we don't want to do is just like hunch forward, right? What we're doing is we're reaching forward, keeping this low back a little bit bent. so you can feel it in your hip. And then you can bring your elbows to the ground, or you can bring your chest all the way to the ground if that feels right to you today. So this is a little bit of stretching here, and we're going to come forward here, and now you're going to go back. So now I want you to, once you find that forward range of motion, I want you to go back and lean back. And then I want you to come forward. And then lean back. And then come forward. Good. And then come back to neutral. Okay, now we're going to switch legs. So switch over to the other leg. And as you switch, if you can, what we're going to practice in a moment after we've switched, we're going to go back and forth a couple of times, but just see if you can take your hands. The first level of this is you can lean back as you switch and rotate your hips without using your hands, right? Like without using your hands to and without moving your feet. So my feet are plugged into the ground. My feet are pretty much staying where they are. And then my hips are doing the rotation to move my femurs over. And I'm leaning back to do so. Now, as you progress in this, you'll be able to keep your hands off the ground and just rotate the hips. We're not going to worry about that too much yet. Just find your way to the other side. Just pause for a second and notice your body. Breathe. And now we're going to make that big circle again. Noticing if one side feels just more painful or more sticky than the other. And again, as you're moving the ribs here, in this big circle, notice how that plays with your hips. So part of this practice is becoming aware, even though we're moving one part of the body, how is it affecting the other parts of your body? The body is an interconnected system. It's not just isolated parts. They all work together as a community. Make that circle a little bigger now. As big as you can. Ooh. Good. And come back to center. Walk it forward. Find that forward fold in here. Maybe your arms are extended, maybe you're on your elbows, maybe your shoulders down, and maybe it's different than it was yesterday. One of the things, to look for in your practice is not for a day-by-day improvement. But some days you might feel a little tighter when you start, right? But more is like looking for a week-by-week improvement. A general trend in one direction is what we're looking for. Right? That's how science is done. Okay, now we're going to lean back. It's not about just one data point here or there. It's about the general trend. What are the themes that we're seeing? And then come forward. And then lean back. Come forward. And just notice as you go each time how that hip starts to loosen up, starts to open up a little bit more. And then come forward. One more time, we come back. And then we come back to neutral. Okay. Now we're going to play with that hip swivel. So you're going to come back and forth with the hips. You can step your feet out a little bit, and you can widen out the feet a little bit more if you want, or you can keep them tucked in. And then you're going to go back and forth. So rotating your shoulders, rotating your hips. Again, you can use your hands behind you if you want to support you and assist you. But if you can, just use the hips. Good. And as you come to one side, see if you can press that knee all the way to the floor. And then come to the other side and press the other knee all the way to the floor. And you want to notice those, if there's any asymmetries. Oh, I can press my knee all the way on my left side, but my right side, it's harder. All right, those are the things you want to start to notice. Because you can thread those pieces of information together to learn what muscles are tight, what, like where do you hold tension in your body and where you need a little extra lovey. Good. Now come back to the center. Take a sat for a moment. Extend the legs, lean back, and pat the back of the knees on the ground. Okay, now let the knees relax. We're going to make a couple of head rolls, make a couple of big head rolls here. And then go the other way. Okay, now we're going to mobilize the face. So I want you to open your mouth wide. And then close it down super tight. Squeeze every muscle in your face. Wake up the face. And then open wide, stick your tongue out, open your eyes. And then squeeze. Exhale. Last time, inhale, open as big as you can. Wake up. And then exhale, close. Last time. Good, now relax the face. And we're gonna go down to the ankles. This is where we'll end. So make some big circles with your ankles as you're lying here. Both going in the same direction. Or opposite directions, I guess, actually. Just making those big ankle circles, starting to lubricate that joint. Making those circles bigger and bigger as you progress. And allow the rest of your body to get into it. So notice again, as you move your ankles, watch your knees. Look at what your knees do. Look at what your hips do. Look at what your legs are doing. You don't have to stop or change any of it, but just notice how your body works. Your body, to move your ankles, you're moving things all the way up your legs. Maybe you're even moving your hips a little bit. And that's all natural and a part of the way the body works. Then go the other way. Listen for any popping that's happening. Let that be there. Feet might be getting tired, that's okay. Really lift those toes up towards your face as you come around in the circle, and then point them away. Make those circles a little bigger. Now really intentionally make those circles as big as you can and use your hips to help make that bigger. So as you're rotating your feet out, rotate your knees out, rotate your hips out. And then as you're bringing them in towards the center, rotate your knees in. Good. For 3, 2, 1, and then done. Good. Now come up to a seated position, whatever's comfortable for you. You can come cross-legged, you can sit on your heels. You just sit up nice and tall. Feel your spine nice and tall. Head reaching up towards the heavens. Hips are on the earth. Breathe with me. Deep and slow through the nose. A meditation. Listening. Listening to your body. And listening and connecting with the sounds in your environment. Take any little movements you need to take. And then I want you to be completely still. Just breathe. We'll be still and silent for a minute or so here. Okay, now I want you to bring to mind one of those pictures from your vision board. Keep your eyes closed. I want you to see that picture. One that makes you feel inspired. I want you to blow up that picture in your mind. I want you to make it bigger. I want it to fill your whole field of view so you see nothing but that picture. And see the colors of it. And if it's a picture of another person, I want you to transpose your own face onto it. I want it to be you. I want you to see yourself in that picture. If it's a place, I want you to put yourself in that place. See yourself in that place. I want you to feel what you feel and notice what you feel. When you see that picture as big as you can. Slowly open your eyes. Take in your environment. Now, as you inhale, I want you to reach out with your hands. Reach your hands out and up and over. Exhale, bring them down. Down over your body. Then bring your hands to your heart. Take a bow. Back up. Thank you. Thank you yourself. Take any movements you need to take here to close out. And that's it for our practice today. Thanks for coming. Thanks for honoring yourself.
Thank you, Thomas.